Alright guys, hope you all had a great weekend, you're doing well and keeping safe of course. Now in my last video I talked about my concerns over the development of new content due to the recent news of Nikki Cuppins leaving the studio alongside many other devs of the original Division team that have left the studio. What I also covered was the confirmation of more seasons coming, not just one but multiple, coming with the new content and also vanity events as well. Since then we've had another reveal, this time from an art producer working on the Division 2, and that's what I want to talk about in today's video. Drop a like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of my videos. And let's go over this recent development. If you are a subscriber of the channel, you may have noticed that on Sunday I posted a poll on the community tab. Now the only way for you guys to see the poll and take part is to be a subscriber, so if you don't want to miss out, make sure you do that. Now I never posted this poll without a good reason. Manhunt Targets are coming back with the new content update alongside new gear sets, exotics and apparel events. This has been confirmed by art director at Massive, Pali Hofstein. Probably said that wrong. Probably butchered that. I probably should have done some kind of Google how do I say this name properly search before making this video, but I'm just going to apologize and call this person Mr. Hofstein. So Mr. Hofstein in a Twitter post actually confirmed this information. It came in response to a tweet about the character artist job opening that recently came up on the Massive website, somewhat I talked about in a previous video as well. And he said the following: actually, I need this person for new gear sets, exotics and Manhunt Targets. Yes, also apparel events. So there you have it. More Manhunt Targets are going to be coming with the new seasons for year 3. I think new gear sets and exotics were a given. I think kind of everyone expected to get those. But I didn't know if the devs might have done something different for year 3. So the more Manhunt Targets is news. That's something that I wasn't sure was going to happen at all. It appears they are going to be going with kind of the same formula as year 2. We're likely going to be getting the 4 seasons, the 4 Manhunt Targets, and then the 1 major target at the end. Who that might be, I'm unsure. But I have theorized before that it will likely be the Sokolov family, because I believe they are in charge of the Black Tusk. I believe Natalia Sokolova is the leader of the Black Tusk, so I suspect that she might be the main target for year 3. But I don't know for sure. Now with that news in mind then, let's take a look at the poll that I posted and see what you guys think and had to say about this. Alright, so as you can see, the question I asked was, do you want Manhunt Targets to return with year 3? If yes, who do we chase? And if no, what would you do instead? Now after 1.7k votes, I want to thank every single person for taking part. 39% said yes and 61% said no. Of course, this poll by no means represents the whole community, but it does give a good indication. It's a good sample size as to the community sentiment surrounding the Manhunt Target content. And as you can see, the majority would rather not have Manhunt Targets return with year 3. I can't say I'm surprised with this result. I actually thought it would go more towards no, even more than 61%. I thought it would be more up towards the 70%. So it was actually surprising in the sense that it didn't quite meet that. But you can kind of see where people are at. What I want to do is have a look at some of the suggestions in the comments as to what could have been done to replace the Manhunt Target system. And then I want to tell you what I think about all of this. One comment said new hunters or new story missions with a new enemy type. Now I picked this one because quite a few comments said they would love to have new story missions and to see some kind of progression of the story. And I think these would be absolutely great. There's no doubt in my mind that we need more missions and we need that progression of the story. I'm always going to be happy when the devs want to expand the story with new missions, but this cannot be in replacement of seasonal Manhunt Targets. And I say that because there's no way the devs are going to give us new story missions every 3 weeks in line with how the Manhunt Target timeline works. And this is a live service game, if you want to call it that. Well, it hasn't been for the last year, but for the most part it's a live service game, so they're going to want to keep players retained, and there's just no way they're going to be able to keep up with the demand of having those new story missions kind of every 3 weeks. The best we could hope for would be a couple of new missions every season, and that wouldn't be enough to sustain a whole season, right? If you can imagine a season is, what, 3 months long? Imagine you got, say, 3 missions at the start of every season, and that's it. Okay, so after that point, you get your vanity events, you get the stuff that we've had before, the leagues and all that sort of stuff, but we'd have nothing else. That would be it. There would be no manhunt targets. There would be nothing to chase. Those missions are done, right? That's basically what would happen if they replace the manhunt target system with just missions. So if we are to get new story missions, which I hope we do, they have to be on top of the manhunt targets. I think that would be the best outcome, but being realistic, I don't think that's ever going to happen. After scouring through the comments, and there was quite a lot, most of the comments were for content that the devs could include, but I didn't find anything that could replace the current manhunt target system the devs have for seasons. Some of that could literally swap in and swap out. Now, some of the content ideas that were in the comments include new map locations, a level increase. This is something that I think is definitely gonna happen. I've covered this in multiple videos. New raid, more invaded missions, more legendary missions. I believe the legendary missions one, I believe that's something that's going to happen. I know Yannick said it's on the list. Whether it makes the cut or not, I'm not sure. PvP balancing and new maps. The balancing stuff will probably happen a little bit. No new maps, very unlikely. I think they've all but abandoned PvP in the Division 2 at this time, hence why we're getting Heartland, and also you could maybe class X Defiant in there, but I would say Heartland is it's basically, if you play the Division PvP and you want a PvP experience, that's what Heartland's for. And I think that's, again, this is why I've covered before, I think the Division 3, if there is one, will be PvE only. New game modes, we are definitely getting one, and I suspect we're only going to get one. What that is, we don't know. If it's as good as something like Survival Wars or Resistance, then I guess that's fine, although I'd love to see more, but it might not happen. Classified assignments, open to everyone. 100% agree with that one, with the choice of difficulty as well. A PvE Dark Zone, unfortunately that won't happen. And replayable side missions with chosen difficulty. That would be a good one, actually. I've never seen that one come up before. I think people might enjoy that one. There's no doubt that all of these ideas I would agree with, but I want all of this stuff on top of the manhunts or an alternative, but not as a replacement. And if you want my opinion, it's this. I don't mind having more manhunt targets over a seasonal format. If I was to take that poll, I would have put yes, but there's a caveat. What I really want is for the developers to dig much deeper into the hunter lore. It's been nearly 6 years since the Division launched, and we really don't know much more now about the hunters than when the Division first launched. And I think now would be the perfect opportunity for the devs to just give us some missions focusing on hunters and their origins, and then have some kind of seasonal manhunt target format set up that expands on that hunter lore, with a prime target, the major target, being the head of the hunters. With the Division 3 looking like it might never come, I see no reason why they would just not unleash the hunters on us, because we all love hunters, right? The majority of the community love fighting against hunters. They love that stuff, but the mystery behind them, it's getting old, right? It's been played way too much. So just let us hunt them, and in return, let us be hunted. New gear sets are fine, along with the new exotics. I hope the devs focus on removing or reworking a ton of talents that are pretty useless in the game, and all they do at the moment is serve to dilute the pool so that RNG just feels disgusting a lot of the time. Ubisoft promised more ways to increase the power of our agents, so I hope the devs don't just up the shade level watch to 2000 with some extra percentage points and call it good, because that would be pretty pointless now. A lot of people far exceed this mark. Not myself, but a lot of people do, and so that system would kind of be voided immediately. I'd hope for them to create another system that might be able to increase our player power instead. As I said before, I do believe they are going to increase the power level in general, up to 50 maybe. And if they do that, as I said before, I hope they have some kind of infusion system that means that our current gear is not wasted and we can infuse it up to the new cap, whether that be through currency or materials or whatever it might be. To sum it up, guys, I'm not surprised that we're getting more manhunt targets. That makes sense. And I'm pretty happy, I would say, that we're getting more manhunt targets, but only if they focus on something like the hunters. If they're not going to focus on something like that, then unfortunately it's going to be the same as the year that we've just had, And I'll be honest, guys, I wasn't really overly interested in the Manhunt Targets and their backstory. It wasn't that important to me, to be honest with you. Hunters, however, that's something that really intrigues me, and I would really want to get involved in that. So please, devs, if you haven't already, and I would hope you have, then please get involved with Hunters and give us the origins and the lore of Hunters, because I know that's what the community wants. Thanks for watching, guys. Until the next one, Epic out.